Hi, and thanks for joining us again for this installment of Tom's Take. Thanks to Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial in LaSalle for sponsoring this weekend cup of coffee. It is Election Day on Tuesday. This is going to be a very brief video, just reminding everyone that we have a voter's guide up on the website, StarvedRock.Media. Up there you will find a voter's resource guide that will take you to different stories that we have done on different races, also sample ballots so that you can get familiar with those and take them in with you to the polling place if you haven't voted already. We don't have a lot to say in those stories since we're a local focus about the presidential race, so there's plenty of dialogue on that elsewhere, plenty of information if you want it, including on our morning show. Rod and Tom does focus a lot on that. So this is more of the local and state races, the county races, I should say, county and state races, congressional races, things like that. And the interesting thing about it is that we have a little bit of a microcosm on the presidential race, I think, in the 76th district, the Illinois State Representative 76th district race. We have an open seat since Democrat Len Siadnak decided to step away from Springfield. Now, a former staffer of his, Murray Briel, is running, and her opponent is the Republican Liz Bishop. And both of them, I think, strike tones that are very similar to what we hear in the presidential race, and not in an acrimonious way. I mean in terms of laying out what the big issues are for each of these women. And by the way, that is one sideline that I don't think we've explored enough, is that this race was being run by two female nominees. And as that may sound pandering, believe me, it's completely sincere. I think we should have talked more about that. But in any event, we have one woman who believes in the key message, and the messaging in her commercials has been about women's rights, reproductive rights. The other, Liz Bishop, the Republican, has been speaking more about security and has the endorsement of three county sheriffs and the former county sheriffs in those counties for LaSalle, Bureau, and DeKalb counties. Another thing to keep track of that you might watch for on Tuesday, it's interesting in that race. It'll be interesting to see how it all breaks down vote-wise, where the votes come. The district stretches all up along I-39 from the LaSalle, Peru area straight up to DeKalb, and then encompasses DeKalb, or at least most of DeKalb, and Northern Illinois University, which logic would say is going to be very good for the Democrat. At the same time, that may not be true in some ways, because there's still some rural voters out there. Ex-urban voters are kind of a toss-up sometimes. So we'll see how it breaks down, but I think it's going to be won or lost in the DeKalb area. And we'll see if Murray Briel gets the turnout she needs there, or if Liz Bishop is able to get the turnout she needs there. But either way, I think Liz Bishop needs to do very strongly in Bureau and LaSalle counties. So we'll watch for that. County board race for LaSalle County, we have two very different philosophies. The Republican incumbent, Don Jensen, is wanting to stay the course and keep things as they are, while taking advantage of the resources that we have here and doing more with what we have. You can hear, soon we'll be posting that full interview up on the Voters Guide. Brian Does also is running, and he's the Democrat in the race. He is focusing more on planning ahead and lists of things to do, a to-do list, really, as you might hear in the Harris campaign these days, too. So there are two different philosophies of how LaSalle County is to be run, two different visions for a successful LaSalle County. That'll be on the ballot in LaSalle County. County board races, important as well. There are 29 members of the LaSalle County Board. Far too many, in my opinion, but I've talked about that before. I will talk about it again. Republican solid majority in the LaSalle County Board, but who knows how that's going to work out this year. We'll find out on Tuesday. I'm hearing a couple of Republican seats may be not as safe as might be assumed. A couple of excellent races going on in the county level in Bureau County, too. in the state's attorney's race, in the county coroner's race, some interesting candidates who all can make a decent claim to those offices. Those stories are up on the Voters Guide too at StarvedRock.Media. Don't forget, we will be on the air after the polls close Tuesday night. Likely not to have a ton of results in early on. Those typically come as we go. They start to come in very quickly. But I don't think we're going to have a presidential race to call on a national level Tuesday night, but certainly our races should be close enough to being complete to be able to call on Tuesday night. So we'll look forward to having you listen into that and get the latest information as it's coming in. We'll have sources elsewhere calling in with their input too. So I'll talk to you on election night. Thanks to Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial in LaSalle for sponsoring Tom's Take, and I'll talk to you in the morning.